Okay. Should we pull up some questions?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm just going on this online form,
Mhm.
and to be honest, you could too, but all right. So here, I like this question. Where to start with case prep as a complete beginner? The person basically just in summary says the problem is I generally don't know where to begin. I've heard of the classic resources like Case in Point, Case Interview Secrets, but I'm not sure how to structure my preparation. Should I start by reading first or jump straight into practice cases? When it comes to cases, is Prep Launch the main platform used, or do you combine it with other tools? Basically, if you're starting from zero today, what would your first 4 to 6 weeks look like? I actually really like this wording. Normally Q and A's are a bit difficult to get through, but yeah, what are your thoughts?
Yeah. Wow. It's a challenging one. Well, I'm just thinking about what I do with people in that phase.
Yeah.
So I start by trying to understand where their natural strengths are. So I'm trying to identify just in conversation where I think they're going to need the most work. And then because I think there are certain people, like everyone assumes you have to spend like 3 months casing. Some people can pick it up in a couple of weeks, but we just don't know who that is and
Yeah.
what the skills are that they have.
Yeah.
So
And time,
I
skills,
start with I
skills
start
and
with
time.
frameworking with everyone. So
Yeah.
structuring out the question
Yep.
in a logical way, breaking a problem down into its constituent parts.
Yep.
And some people this takes 3 or 4 sessions and they get it. Other people they never get it,
Mm-hmm.
even with me teaching them for many sessions.
Yep.
Uh, and then there are other components. So in those first few weeks, I have them watch some cases just to like see what is this thing,
Mm-hmm.
like what even is casing. I work with them on frameworking and I give them a pack of drills to go through and do a whole bunch of frameworks,
Okay.
some that have the more classic case types. So they can see what those are about without memorizing, but seeing how they're broken down, and then a bunch of random ones so they
Mm.
can see different ways of structuring problems out.
Interesting. Um, my answer cheekily would be promoting my course. I'd
Yeah,
say
I know.
the best resource is the 360-degree consulting recruiting course. And I'm biased, but I genuinely believe it. And I mean, you've seen the testimonies. There's a lot of people that say it's better than the other ones. So I think that there's kind of two answers. Is one, is this person going through coaching versus are they not? I think what you're saying about the coaching was interesting. It's like the way I view candidates is they have what their baseline, where are they currently, and everyone starts out at a different place, like in terms of
Mhm.
knowledge and ability. There's how quickly they learn, so what that slope looks like, and then there's how long they have. So if they have to get to here and they're starting here and they have a long time and they're not a very good learner, well, that's okay. All right, we have time. If they're a
Mhm.
great learner and it's like this, then you're great. But if they're not a great learner or they're starting out really low, even if they are a good learner, you're not going to make that slope. And so, but the thing is that slope can change, right? So obviously,
Mhm.
like we're going to
Yeah.
say it, but it is true. The biggest lever you can make to your slope of learning is coaching, right? Per hour, that's the biggest bang for buck, assuming you have a good coach like us. But like, but that is the biggest lever. And then the next biggest
Yeah.
lever is the time that you have. So I always tell candidates if they're like frantically running around, having trouble learning, we're hitting walls. I always tell them it's not my fault, it's their fault, obviously first. But no, I'm just kidding. I got to find a way to teach it, right? But what I say is like it tends to be if someone's hitting a wall during my coaching and multiple sessions they're not learning, it's because they're studying full time and they've got a part time internship or job and like they've got their own personal life and all that. And I go, you got to cut some stuff because like next month or two you got to find a way. So I tell them to take sick leave. Like, okay, you're not supposed to, but take it. Take annual leave, right? It's supposed to be for holidays, but like you're gonna need it for this. And it's like, where is your brain focused, right? Where if your brain is focused on work and school and then on the side it's doing the case coaching, it's like you're not going to learn it. And it's not like I think this is the most important thing in the world. No, it's not. Right? Like it's
Who
freaking
are
case
you?
interviews. Yeah. I'm not like, oh, if you're going to learn my mastery, you're like, who cares? But like if you do want that job for 1 to 2 months, it does have to become the most important thing because your
Mhm.
brain thinks when you're not thinking, and if you're distracted, you're not going to get there. Like you got to free up time. I think uh still though, this person in that forum, they basically asked, if you were starting today from zero, what would your first 4 to 6 weeks look like? And in a way, I know you were saying, well, I need to understand the candidate. But at some point in time, you have to give generic advice, the best possible generic advice
Yeah.
possible for someone who can't pay for it or whatnot. So what would you say would be a good 4 to 6 weeks?
Yeah. Are we assuming no coaching?
Mm-hmm.
No coaching, infinite timeline, basically.
Yeah, no coaching, 3-month timeline.
Yeah, 3-month timeline.
But what the first half would look like, because that's what this person was asking.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because now are we talking like using our resources or just theirs? If it's just theirs, I would tell them first to identify a handful of case buddies.
Yeah, that was what I was.
If you don't have coaching, you don't have access to somebody's drills that you know are effective and what you need to be learning.
Yeah.
Identify case buddies, find people at the firms and mentors, so not paid coaches, but people who know what is actually being looked for, and have them work with you as well, even if it's just here and there, so you can, because working just with peers creates a little bit of an echo chamber where it's kind of the blind leading the blind, right? You have all these kids and it becomes like a pod of like, no one really knows what is being looked for.
Yeah.
Those are the big things. I would tell them to figure out what it is. What I notice is that certain candidates struggle a lot with the math, and that's the thing that can basically make or break the whole process if they don't identify that problem early enough. So I used to like put that off. And I noticed a few candidates, I made a mistake in that, where if they had like a month to prep, I spent 2 weeks on frameworking only to discover that they couldn't do like paper math.
Yeah.
And so I would have like pulled that up in the process. So I'd say like make sure there's nothing that is essentially like an Achilles heel.
Yeah. I'm curious.
And if there is
so it's funny because, I think one of the big things of a coach is to tell them what not to do as much as what to do, right? Because there's so much info. I have 2 things that I always tell candidates to just ignore until the end, until like 2 to 3 weeks out. I'm curious if you can guess what those 2 are.
Yeah, you're saying there are 2 to 3 things you tell them to ignore until the end. So one is probably behavioral prep.
Yep.
Okay. Until 2 to 3 weeks out. I'm gonna get it. Give me 1 second. Preparing for the specific firms type of case.
Actually, I never really tell them to prepare for this specific firm. Well, actually, sorry, you're right. For McKinsey, yeah. If it's McKinsey, I say learn candidate-led still. If you've got the timeline, it's useful. You'll know why McKinsey does it their way. You'll be able to predict things anyway. Yeah, you're right. So switching to McKinsey, but that's probably a month out. It's market sizing. That's the other one that so I always say, don't worry about behavioral, don't worry about market sizing until the end, because it's already too much to handle. And if you can get structured thinking, if you can get frameworking, if you can get cases, well, then the behavioral and the market sizing are going to be much, much easier. And they can be both can be quickly learned, assuming you have that skill set, like you said, with the math and all that. But yeah, I always basically say, I think number one, you got a live case. Period. Stop reading case books. Like, I did 10 cases last week. Oh yeah, with peers? No, like in a case book. Then you did 0. I'm sorry, you did 0. Like it's like watching a football game, watching 10 football games and saying, "Oh, I played 10 football games." No, you didn't. You didn't get any better at the sport. Like if you're already good at the sport, watching film, okay, maybe, but like get out and play. So I always have candidates who are like, I just wanted to read up more and get better at it before I jumped in. It's like, you're not going, like, how long has it been? A month? You haven't cased yet? Come on. You're still at day 1. But I think, getting a wide variety of case buddies is huge. Basically, in my prep plan, I say daily math until you're good. And there's some resources I like to send them. Daily exhibit and chart reading until you're good. 20 minutes, 30 minutes, because it's that repetition. And then after 2 to 3 weeks, you can forget it because you're done. You've learned it, and it's one less thing to worry about, and it's not hindering you in your cases. The other thing I say is daily reading, which should be your no wastage time, as in you're on the bus, you're on, you're walking around, whatever it is, podcasts, Financial Times, whatever, Robinhood snacks, market snacks. And then on the weekly cadence, it's live cases with peers and 1 industry deep dive. And that's what I say for like a cadence, like a weekly cadence, which technically I'm not supposed to give away, but I just did. So anyway.
I mean, you haven't yet, but
Well, I tailor it to the candidates anyway. And okay,
no, I
which
mean
research?
until this goes
Well,
live.
until this goes live, if it goes live, we'll see. But yeah, I mean, tailoring, I tailor it still to the candidate, and obviously in the course it deep dives more into what to do. But yeah, that's what I recommend. Yeah.
Wow, that's super cool to hear how you do it. Obviously, it's many years of work that's been
Trial and
in
error,
the making
And
there.
again, like you said, you have to adjust, right? So, um, okay. Oh, here's a question. Oh my God, there's so many of these questions. Here's one question. X company internship under review status. And it's like, hey, I applied for this internship in September. Oh, September intake. I applied in late March, and my application has been under review since early April. However, I haven't received any updates as of now. I wanted to check, is this typical or does it indicate a rejection? Right. And there, honestly, I feel like these are half of the Q&As I see online. It's like, I applied for
Really?
X company, or I interviewed with X company. It was X amount of time ago. What does it mean? And my answer, I'm curious about yours, but my answer is always like, first of all, we don't know. Second of all, nothing changes about your plan. Apply and network with as many companies as you can and have as many interviews as you can so that you're not locked in to just worrying about this one company, right? It's kind of like when you're out there dating. I probably shouldn't use this analogy, but if you're dating, you should probably be, at least going,
Yeah.
not dating multiple people at the same time, but you should be going on multiple dates until you find your person, not like waiting on one date that you have booked 2 weeks from now and go, I hope that goes well. Like, if you're really trying to get out there. So same thing here. It's like, probably it's not the best analogy, but if you want to be optimal, that's what you have
Good
to do.
analogy.
And I always find it funny. They're like, what does it mean? It's like, well, it means stop checking the dashboard. They'll tell you when they've decided, and nothing you do right now will change any outcome. So I think it's crazy to try to. I understand why people want to have an understanding of things. It makes them feel better, but feeling better doesn't change anything. All that time and energy, you should be casing. You should be networking. You should be applying to other companies. And the other thing I say is, well, the longer the time, the lower the odds.
Right.
The longer the time, if it's been 2 months, I'm sorry, probably no go, but I've seen it happen, right? The longer the time, the lower the odds. I don't know. I'm curious what you think, though.
Yeah, I agree. I don't. It's not worth spending energy on this. It's like even if we knew they were going to reach out in some amount of time, you should still be networking. You should still be applying to other things. It's almost like send the app and then just let it do
Forget
its
about it.
thing. You
Yeah.
can't control anything anymore.
Yeah. Put it in your application tracker so you know it's there. You know you've applied to that role on this day, and they will let you know. And if they don't, it's a no, until it's a
For
yes,
sure.
Um,
Just like move on. And
yeah. Yeah.
with
Um,
each individual company, it's going to be a low likelihood
yeah.
for most
Correct.
candidates. So just shoot
That,
the shot in a lot of places.
that's what's crazy to me is they go, oh, what are my odds? Less than 50%.
Yeah,
And then
way less than that.
and then the moment you realize that, it's like, okay, well, like, why are you wringing your hands over any given firm, even McKinsey, even BCG? Their odds are 5%. So, like, cool, send it out there, but it's probably going into space, And if it doesn't, cool, you hit the lottery. But like, I applied to 40 firms. I got 8 interviews. Then I made those 8 count and I passed all of them. But like, I wasn't wringing my hands around it. Okay, I'm probably lying. I probably did. I cared a lot about McKinsey, Bain, and BCG, but I wasn't checking the portal every single second, right? It is human nature, but you have to try to resist that. It's a waste of time.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, it is human nature. It is if you really want it, to be obsessing about it.
Yeah. I told you I had a guy who, he sent me a private message and was like, I got this question on the McKinsey and Bellis right, and these ones wrong, or, this one wrong, and it's been 3 weeks. What are my odds? And I said 22.3575%. And you said, okay, thank you. It's like, wait, what? And he was following up from a Q&A where I basically said, stop trying to predict these things none of us know. And then he messaged me. He was like, okay, but what do you think? You didn't get my point.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So I'll let you answer another one first instead of me always answering it.
In the hot seat.
Oh, this is a good one. So this Q&A says, I was asked in an interview recently, do you have any other ongoing processes, like other interviews? I replied, yes, I have a few interviews in progress, but nothing finalized yet, which is true. They followed up with, if you receive multiple positive offers and have the luxury to choose, which we hope for you, what would be your deciding criteria? What will make you choose one company over another? And they're asking how to
Wow.
answer that.
Huh. I mean, this stuff. So I pretty much tell people I just coach casing now. So I don't deal with like much of this stuff. And
So
when
I
I
shouldn't have
and
let
I'm
you
happy to
answer
give
this one
my
first.
no, I'm happy to give my perspective. Like I will give candidates my perspective, but I don't put as much energy into like making sure my answers are right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would just tell them to basically say that they would accept the offer from this firm if they got it because it's not binding, and everyone's going to say that. And I think certain firms, especially like Bain, value the people taking the offer.
Yep.
So I would just say it's my top choice, and then you can. I mean, I'm personally pro like reneging if it came down to that. Like these firms do shit to people all the time, and I'm like, just take your power back, try to get the offer, and then do what you got to do to find your way. So
Well, yeah, once the offers come in, but what you say in the interview, I am generally, it depends on the exact scenario, but I'm generally in favor of calling out the elephant in the room. I think people as human beings tend to respond positively to the elephant in the room being called out. That's how I've gotten through
mhm,
my awkwardness all these years. Like when I do something awkward, I just go, "Well, that
yeah,
was awkward," and it just fixes everything, you know?
yeah,
You know, when you call the elephant out in the room and just address it head on, it shows maturity, it shows professionalism, and the honesty and candidness I think is appreciated. I agree that there is some dance and BSiness in any form of a office and workplace and interview. But I think you got to go like, look, to be honest, the motivation for me is culture and workplace, right? Or look, the motivation for me is prestige and career.
yeah,
Or look, to be honest, the motivation for me is pay, right? And like whatever you say, I do think it should be honest. And then you say, as of right now, I do think that the company
yeah,
you're interviewing, and I do think that insert name of company that asked you that question is that company because of this, this, and that. But yeah, I mean, candidly, uh, if it weren't to be, I would go with the other place.
yeah.
But so far from what I've seen, it does seem
Right.
like, this firm is that for me. So it is my top choice. But you don't just go, ah, this firm is my top choice, right? Actually say the
Yeah,
things, be
yeah,
really genuine about it, like truthful, not bullshitty.
yeah.
And then the only part where you might bullshit a little is saying, so far my understanding is this firm is that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. I'm more. I feel like such a liar.
Just like genuine
No,
but bullshitty.
no, I like that a lot more. I think so. I almost only deal with MBB at this point, and
Mm,
so within MBB, I'm just telling you honestly, like what
yeah.
I think. Like within
No,
MBB,
that's fine.
I would just have them say that they will take this offer.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, if they're interviewing with the MBBs, and now we're talking about like some small consulting firm, yeah, I wouldn't have them lie and be like, I'm definitely taking it. Like if they know that they're interviewing with the MBBs and the firm knows this too, I think with the MBBs, I think there is some sort of a like chest puffing effect where like they
Mm,
want to win these cross offers. And I agree with you. The honest answer is better, but I would always have them be indicating like if this offer came, I will
yeah.
be taking it in however many words it takes to be honest.
I
And
think that's right. Yeah. You can't say, oh, actually these three other firms I prefer. They're not going to
right.
give you the offer.
Like
Because
I do hear people getting asked this, like
yeah.
an MBA candidate
Yeah.
in the last cycle got asked it at McKinsey.
Yeah.
He was like, if I'm going to stand on the table and fight for you tonight in the room, like,
Yeah.
I got to know that you're going to take it. And like,
Yeah.
I mean, this is an asshole of a person to do
Yeah.
that because
Yeah.
now they're basically saying, I'm going to say no if you don't say yes. And it's
Yeah.
like some weird prisoner's dilemma where they're always
Yeah.
going to say yes now.
Yeah.
So basically the interviewer messed up the genuine question there by
Yeah.
making it like a threat. He couldn't even extract a real answer. But
And I
they
think
do
that's
ask it.
they do. They do. Um yeah. I think yeah, you do have to say yes. Uh but you have to make it sound genuine. I mean, Everyone will say yes, but the question is can you say it convincingly? And that's why I was
True.
saying
True.
you can't just say yes, I would. You have to give all the reasons up front, which have to
There
be
you go.
genuine, because they
Mhm.
can feel that and see that. And then when you
Mhm.
pivot, you've already been truthful and genuine, and then it's easier to kind of slide into like, and this would be the offer.
Brilliant. I am aligned.
Nice.
That's my new strategy.
Uh, yeah, hopefully I
This
never.
question comes up again, I'll
Yeah,
tell you what I
hopefully I
think.
never have to interview again. Although
Why do you want to?
well, I've done all right recently. I mean, I interviewed at Australia Zoo and got that job, so there's that. Yeah.
Yeah. What sorts of animals came up in that interview?
Unbelievable, unbelievable. Should we do a case?
Sure.